Okay, I wanted to give a little more indication on problem 2, where you had to find 4 IDFTs. And notice that the first IDFT is 1000. The second IDFT is 0100. 0100 is the cyclical shift of 1000. Then this next one, 0010, is the cyclical shift of 0100, etc. Okay, so if you did these results, this is what you should get. You get 4 results, very closely related. Will have similar terms. And the question was, how do you relate these different results? Maybe a little bit difficult to find a pattern, but there is one. And let me see if I can get my computer unstuck here. Let's see if it works now. There we go. It's still not unstuck. Let's try something else. And I'll change my page. Oh, it's very stuck. All right, just give me a moment here. We'll get back. Okay, let's try again. Okay, and let's see if we can get this unstuck. Voila. Okay. All right, so what's the relationship between these? Well, here's where you have to be a little bit careful. When I originally made this video, I did it incorrectly. We defined cyclic shift here. Cyclic shift of S0, well, let's just do it for 4. So S0, S1, S2, S3 is S1, S2, S3, S0. In other words, you take the S0, move it to the end, and you move the other ones to the left. So what's the relationship between these two IDFTs? In fact, this one here is the cyclical shift of this one here. Now, when I originally made the video, I got it backwards, and I made a mistake, and I had to go back and redo it. But anyway, I think I've corrected the mistake now. So this way here, this is a cyclical shift from here to here. Okay. Now, how do I go from this transform to the one above? Well, think about term by term, entry by entry. This is the same, so I multiply this by 1. To get from minus I to 1, actually I multiply by I. You can think about that. I times minus I is equal to 1. To get from minus 1 to 1, I multiply this by minus 1. To get from I to 1, I multiply this by minus I. Look at this pattern. 1, I, minus 1, minus I. Does that look familiar? All right, now here again. If I go from 0010 to 0100, that's a cyclical shift. I'm moving all the entries to the left. This one goes over to the next place. And I'm moving the first entry to the end. So this is also a cyclical shift. Okay. Now what's the pattern here? Multiply this one by 1. Multiply this one by I to go from minus 1 to minus I. Multiply this one by minus 1. Multiply this one by minus I. Same pattern, right? You can find the same pattern here. Very same pattern here. You can verify. And if you went from this one back to this one, you'd find the very same pattern. So it's the same pattern of multiplication. So how would you express this in general? Well, we have 4 components, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll call that component K. All right? So the kth component of the shifted inverse Fourier transform is equal to the kth component of the unshifted times something. Now, this is going to depend on K, right? Because when K equals 0, it's 1. When K equals 1, it's I, etc. Okay? So you have to fill this in, figure out what this is. Okay? Then you want to prove your formula. To prove it, let's write down the expression that you have for the IDFT of the cyclic shift. Okay? So if I cyclic shift this, my result is S1, S2, S3, and S4. S0, sorry. Okay. Now, for the moment, let me call that S0 prime, S1 prime, S2 prime, S3 prime, so I can apply the formula directly. Later on, I'll replace the primes with these new indices. Okay? Because this is my new value of S0, this is my new value of S1, etc. Okay, so here's the formula for the IDFT. Remember, notice there's a minus sign, that's the IDFT. Right. Then I write it out term by term. And then I plug in the values for S0. What's S0 prime? That's S1. What's S1 prime? That's S2. Okay, times e to the minus blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right, so I'm going to get an expression here. And so I want to relate this to the IDFT of my original sequence, which I can also write down. That's the same expression as the one with S prime, except it's not prime. Okay? So you're going to have two different expressions. And the question is, can you relate these together? Can you find a relationship, right? This one here is the IDFT of the shifted, right? And then this one here is the IDFT of the unshifted. So can I multiply the IDFT of the unshifted and get the IDFT of the shifted? And then this value is going to depend on K. Okay, so that's kind of an outline of how you can do that problem. Hopefully that will help you figure this out.